Hello, I'm Dominique McLean. I'm here to give you my video synopsis for chapters 1 through 3. Chapter 1 begins with speaking on communicating through technology, which is basically what we do on an everyday basis, whether it's through text, through email, on the phone, or social media. It then goes on to talk about the role that communication plays in career success and how the effective workplace communicators explain ideas and give good directions. Basically stating that you need to have good communication skills in order to do anything. It then goes on to explain the difference between texting and work related communications, whereas when you're texting your friends or whatever, you're using abbreviations or certain words that you're not allowed to use when you're writing a paper for class. Of course, you can't abbreviate words during when you're writing a paper. It then talks about ethical behavior, where it mentions plagiarism, which is using another person's information without permission or citing the source where you got it from. It also talks about ethics, which is the individual system of moral principles, which we all have. It talks about the components of communication, the source or sender, the message, interference, channel, receiver, feedback, environment, and context. I believe that the message and context between those two, I would say that those are the most important because the message is what you're trying to get through to someone else, and the context is the message, including the way that the message is supposed to be sent. We all know that you can have there's such thing as intentional communication and unintentional. On Twitter, we call that a subtweet. That's unintentional communication, whereas you're saying something and someone that is the message basically goes to someone that is not intended for. There are different types of communication, which are intrapersonal, interpersonal, public, and mass. And it also talks about misconceptions of communication. Chapter 2 talks about perception and communication. It lists the perception process, which begins with selection, whereas you're sorting one stimulus from another. Then it goes into organization, where you're sorting, organizing, or categorizing, putting the stimulus wherever it's supposed to be in whichever category it belongs in. And last, it is interpretation, where you are assigning meaning to the stimuli, whether it's on a past experience or new situations. It then goes on to talk about improving perception, where you become an active perceiver. Recognize that everyone is unique, keep an open mind, and be a competent communicator. Chapter 3 talks about connecting self and communication. It's basically about self concept or self identity, where you realize your values, your attitudes, and your beliefs. It talks about stereotypes between females and males. We all know that happens. It talks about self respect, self image, and last, it talks about improving yourself. Set goals for yourself, make a commitment to improve yourself, and associate yourself with positive people anytime possible. And that's it.